What is this? If that's what you're thinking as you look at this mass of blue with some bubbles, like, I don't blame you. This is a weird photo. I don't think I've ever taken a photo like this before. And it was super fun to take, super simple to take. And it had an interesting twist on it that I initially did not consider at all, but I added after talking about photography with a friend from work. So what are we looking at here? This is a soap dispenser, just a plain old soap dispenser. And if you are on the blog, you can scroll down and see the original setup with my camera pointed right at the soap dispenser. If you're on YouTube and you're watching us, click the link below the video, go to the blog, and you'll see the behind the scenes shot of my camera set up next to a jar of soap, or not a jar, but a plastic container. It's just one of those soap containers that goes under your sink, and then you can wash your hands without a separate soap dispenser. You just pump the little soap dispenser. I keep saying that phrase. You pump the little metal handle next to the faucet, and soap comes out. So I was refilling that, and I noticed that there were these bubbles, like almost frozen in place, but not quite. They did move up very, very slowly, which actually made it a little tricky to photograph them. And I thought, man, this would be a really cool macro shot if I could just make this work somehow. So I brought the soap dispenser over to the window, brought my camera over to the window, and it was just not working out. Like, I could not dial in the right aperture to get anything in focus. I couldn't, the bubbles were moving too fast, which sounds weird. But like, if you just held the soap dispenser out in front of you and looked at it, it would look like these are completely frozen, not going anywhere. But when you view them very, very, very close, they are moving just fast enough to be blurry unless you use a fast shutter. I ended up shooting this at oh boy, I don't even remember, like about a 750th of a second. If you go to Flickr, you won't even see the EXIF data on the photo. And there's a reason for that. It's kind of I don't know if it's a good reason or not, but there's a reason for it. If I remember right, okay, it was 105 millimeters with my macro lens, f6.7, and 1/350th of a second, not a 700. But this is, boy, I lost my train of thought there for a second. All these things I had to figure it out on the fly. And what would happen is I would watch a bubble come up and think, okay, I got to get that. That's my bubble. Well, by the time I would get the shot composed and lined up and everything, the bubble would already be past my camera lens, even though it's going really, really slow. Also, every single blurry circle and oval in this picture is a bubble. There's like 1,000 bubbles just in what you see here. There happens to be one, maybe two that are actually in focus, but it's full of bubbles. So how do you focus on just one? It was very strange, but it was a really cool photo opportunity. I wanted the photo to fill the frame. I didn't want to crop anything. And if you look on the original, on the behind the scenes on the blog, you'll see that my camera is like right next to this jar of soap. And that's fine. It worked out just fine. And I got what you see here. I wish this bubble would be a little bigger. It's not super prominent in the frame. I think it does catch your eye initially, and then you see the blue on the sparkles on the left. And one thing about this photo is, well, I guess I would say, and in the end, I'm really happy with what I got. It took a lot of experimentation. It took several minutes, and I was getting hungry because I was also trying to make lunch at the same time. But I think this is super cool, and I'd like to try this again next time we refill that soap dispenser. But the one thing you'll notice is that this is all blue. If you go to the blog and look at the behind the scenes one, it's all yellow. And the reason for that is when you view this up close, what I realized was that it just didn't look quite right to have a photo of liquid, of yellow liquid, like right up close. I mean, it just, yeah, if you know what I'm getting at here, it looked weird. Well, a friend of mine from work named Nina, she suggested, well, did you try using Photoshop and like putting a background layer, like use a layer with a solid color, and then experiment with blend modes? And I did exactly that. I had not considered that before at all. So I went to Photoshop and I used like a blue layer. I forget. It was like some shade of blue, and then experimented with the different blend modes like multiply and add, subtract, and all that. I forget which blend mode I even used. I didn't keep the original Photoshop document. Once I got the photo I liked, I just hit export it, export as PNG, and then I was done with it. But I never do that with my photos. I never go to Photoshop. Almost all my tweaking is in Lightroom. I own Photoshop, but I never use it. And I don't know, it was a fun way to kind of experiment with Photoshop just a little bit. So thank you, Nina. I appreciate the tip, and I like this photo. I think it came out great, and hopefully I'll take some more like it.